What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Lobbing Scorchers. We are recording this on a Wednesday evening in the aftermath of the Seattle Sounders Leagues Cup 2025 title, which they won over the weekend at Lumen Field against Lionel Messi, Inter Miami, and the Crash Out Crybaby Barca boys. We've got a surprisingly newsy show to get here this evening. Noah, how are you feeling now that the dust is settled and we're back at it with a normal show and it's a little less frantic? I feel a little more relaxed tonight than I have the last couple days. How about you?
I feel the same way. I've literally haven't been sleeping. I've just been grinding out content like nonstop. We did 2 million views across all of our social media platforms in the last 3 days. So that has just been literally all we're doing. So that's a good shout to follow us on TikTok and Instagram, as well as YouTube. But oh my God, what a final. Such a joy to be able to be there, to live stream for 5 hours, to do just like the whole thing. And shout out to the Sounders for getting that done. And what a crowd, what an event. We'll talk about it. But also shout out to the Sounders social team for putting us in 2 brain rot TikTok edits for the kids out there who know what that is.
That's where we belong.
Yeah, that's really where we belong. But also, I have to say, I had people coming at me saying, "Oh, Noah, you're coming in hot. You're coming in hot. You're coming in heavy. Oh, you're really talking a lot of shit. This is Inter Miami and the Barca boys. Noah, like you should tone it down. You're gonna jinx us."
Victory lap. Victory lap.
But Messi, where are you, bro? You ghosted. You ghosted. Ghostnack is gone. That agenda is over. It's now ghosty. Does that hit? I don't know.
Well, we can workshop that. We're going to be talking about Lionel Messi. He's going to be a key character in this show. I'm glad you mentioned it about just thank you to everyone who tuned into our coverage of this whole tournament. Like you said, the the view count's been going crazy. We've got a lot of new subscribers, especially this last game against Inter Miami. I think it definitely we had a lot more people that weren't familiar with us watching our stuff, which is awesome. Hopefully some of you will stick around. And yeah, the 5-hour post-game live was a marathon, but God, I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was incredible to experience that game, not just with each other, but with like the whole community. We had like 100 people probably call in after the game. It was just a constant stream of calls keeping us on all night. So really just, the best week in Lobbing Scorchers history for sure. And a great historic week, historic match, historic win for the Seattle Sounders. That one's going down in the books. I mean, 70K people in the building to watch the squad absolutely destroy Lionel Messi and the Barca boys, and then have them crash out and start a massive brawl, complete with a trademark vintage Luis Suarez.
A new
crash
moment.
out.
A new moment in his aura.
Caused by the Seattle Sounders. Oh, God. Yeah. It's such good content. We're going to be basking in it a little bit more. We've got new details on what Lionel Messi reportedly told Pedro de la Vega and Obed Vargas during the match.
We're breaking the Obed Vargas story, by the way. I'm just letting everyone know.
Okay. All right. I guess we're breaking that. There was reports that are already out there about what Lionel Messi told Pedro de la Vega. So and we have also, if you can't, we have also heard what he told Obed Vargas. I'm sure many of you remember he got into it verbally with both of those guys during the match. So if you're wondering what he said, we're going to talk about that. I have to say, doesn't seem like very goated behavior from Lionel Messi. The stuff that he was telling those guys. Cristian Roldan got called up to the USMNT. We're going to talk about that, and then we got a historic agenda check. We are going to be going through at the start of the show. We're going to be going through and declaring a group of agendas that we have talked about on this show ad nauseum, dating back at least a year or two now for some of these. And we're going to be declaring them dead, putting them to rest. I think that's kind of the unique thing that comes with an agenda check after you win a final is it kind of puts a bow on certain things. So we're going to talk about those things, and then we're going to talk about some other agendas later. So it's going to be a jam-packed show. It's going to be a good one. Before we do that, I do have to let you all know that Lobbing Scorchers is a part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. If you want to get the best independent Seattle soccer coverage, consider supporting us by going to sounderatheart.com/LS. Noah, what's that link?
sounderatheart.com/LS.
Scroll down to subscribe and support to get 30 days completely free. Every sign up through our link helps support and grow this show. We've hit 100 Sounder at Heart subs. I think we hit that milestone announced on our last episode. Appreciate you all helping us get to that. That was a big one. We've been working on that for a long time.
We got one new one.
We got one new one.
One.
Who's the new sub?
Carl Hitburner.
Carl Hitburner. Carl.
Something like that. We appreciate you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Carl
Appreciate
H.
you. Shout out to our sponsors, Hacks and Ferments, Podium Menswear, Full Pull Wines, My Data Removal. Hacks and Ferments, we have our hot sauce has been out for a few weeks. LobbingScorchers.com/sauce. Go ahead and order that up if you haven't. Definitely
it's a compliment to any crash out.
That's how we should market it.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as Noah mentioned, I mean, our Instagram and our TikTok, this tournament, and particularly this last game with with Inter Miami, Messi, and the Rothrock content, it was definitely the biggest week for us on the old IG and talks. So a lot of good content over there. All a long way of saying follow us on those platforms. And last little promo here before we get into it. We were filming the whole time. We were at the Leagues Cup final. We went down there at around noon before kickoff with our video guy, Eric, who's the man. And we were filming. We did some man on the street type content. We really got the whole vibe of the Pioneer Square, immediate Lumen Field vicinity. It was awesome. And then we also have footage from the game and in the stadium and stuff. And we're going to put it together in a big vlog similar to the ones we did about the US Open Cup earlier this year. Really excited for that. That type of content for this game, Noah, I think is going to go crazy. And that is, we're shooting for Friday to get that out. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, so keep your eyes posted for that. That's going to be, oh God, I'm so excited to watch
We've
that.
been watching the edit versions, and I've been working with Eric and helping produce it a little bit. And this is legitimately like, I was getting goosebumps watching it.
It's fire.
So I'm so excited to put this out.
All right, Noah, let's lay down this pod. You ready?
I'm so ready.
To get into it.
I've been waiting.
Yeah, let's. It's
funny because I've been waiting, but also we've been doing content the entire time, so I haven't really had to wait. But it's like this is just such a good format for us.
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to do this too.
It's nice to be able to slow it down a little bit and just kind of bask in everything, as opposed to just like you said, keeping the content rolling 24/7 without sleeping.
Right.
All right. First topic of the day, Noah. We've got some news that came out about probably an hour before we started recording this. It is courtesy of Alan Gordon on the Major League Journeyman podcast that he hosts with other former MLS veteran players, Dax McCarty and Dan Gargan. They were giving their analysis of the Leagues Cup final, and Alan Gordon revealed what Lionel Messi supposedly told Pedro de la Vega when he was chirping at him on the field. So I believe we have the clip of that ready to go. So we're going to play that from Alan Gordon in the Major League Journeyman podcast, guys, and then we're gonna go sub, toss him a sub, and then we're gonna react to it. So let's get that clip up, and here we go.
And here's some inside stuff that makes me sick. De la Vega, we talked about him. How awesome has he been?
Yeah,
awesome. He's been so good, and that's another piece of Schmetzer that we were like, okay, well, where's this guy going to play? Remember when we were talking about it? We're like, well, Schmetzer will figure it out. And then they weren't doing well, and I was like, I guess we were wrong. Schmetzer is not figuring it out, and he's gone ahead, and this guy's having a great – I mean, every time I watch him play, he gets better and better and better.
Yeah. Dude, he killed LA.
That system.
He killed him.
He was
nasty.
So Messi told him, Do you remember when they got into a little scuff during the game? Messi told him to his face, he said, "You'll never play for the national team as long as I am involved." He basically blackballed him on the field. And so, and this happened. This happened.
That's that.
That's that. And then let's throw the Obed piece into this, because we've also heard through very reputable sources that what Messi told Pedro de la Vega is something to the effect of, "You are shit and you will," or what he told Obed Vargas.
He told Obed Vargas this.
He told Obed Vargas, "You are shit and you will never leave MLS."
Which is funny, because the guy has a $10 million transfer offer outstanding to go to Liga MX, which I understand that he was trying to aim at it like, "You'll never go to Europe." But brother, what are we talking about?
Yeah. What do you make of let's start talk about the blackballing thing first. What do you make of Lionel Messi telling Pedro de la Vega that he will never play for Argentina as long as he's involved?
Well, it's a good thing
think,
that he's playing his last game this weekend. It's a good thing Messi's playing his last game this weekend.
For Argentina? Yeah,
allegedly, potentially.
Aren't they playing tonight? I think,
I guess it's tonight. Yeah,
he's like not playing in that game. I guess he just got there. I mean, I'll just say for my part, this kind of just reinforces a couple things. Number one, that Obed Vargas and the Seattle Sounders live in Lionel Messi and the Inter Miami crash out Barca boys heads, rent absolute free. They're not paying anything to live in there. That's number one. And I think more than that, it's just like Messi came into the league with all this aura and brought the Barca boys with him, and it was like this, ooh, these guys are in the league now. What like legendary figures to grace MLS with their presence. And he came in with a bang on the field too. They made their Leagues Cup run when he first got here. They set the points record last year, played some great footy, and there was just this kind of, like I said, aura around them. After watching this tournament and then seeing how that final went, and then watching Sergio Busquets, let's go down the list.
Yeah.
Sergio Busquets punches Obed Vargas in the face. I know people were saying it's like not a punch because he didn't hit him that hard. I mean, he closed his fist and he jabbed him in the face. So whatever you want to call that, that is not very becoming behavior of a 37-year-old man.
Well, I think that's exactly it for this, right? You're the greatest player of all time. You don't need to prove yourself at all. You know for a fact, because you've met Pedro de la Vega before, especially when he was coming up as a young Argentine. You know that he idolizes you. And you're going to sit here on the field, whether it's shit talk or not, and just like tell him that he's never going to be involved in his national team, and tell him that, all of this stuff. You have to understand your place in all of this, right? You've won everything there is to win. Why are you getting so upset about, like, I can respect a competitor. I can respect a little shit talk on the field, but that's different. That's different. To do that not only to Pedro de la Vega, but also to Obed Vargas. Those are two young players. Those are two young players who are starting their careers and have idolized this player, who have even openly said, like, yeah, it's an incredible honor to play against this player. I've never said anything bad about you, but are just playing you hard and well. Is that not a sign of respect in itself, that they didn't pull any punches? No, neither one of those players was playing dirty against Messi, was playing violent against Messi. It's shocking. It's shocking and it's embarrassing. And it goes to show that, like, there has been a sort of air of like, yeah, Messi's kind of a brat, especially when he was at Barcelona. And there was talk about how he was kind of a brat in the locker room and things like that. But you're at your point in your career where you have nothing left to prove and you have people idolizing you. and you're sitting there and you're telling them that they're shit and that they're never going to be anything and that you're going to purposefully blackball them from the national team, that's so embarrassing. And then to get blown out 3-0 while saying that, it's over. He's washed. The game is gone. The game has left him. They say this, Ari. This is a saying. Leave football before football leaves you. He has become a supervillain. He is no longer a footballer. He is a supervillain. Inter Miami are the Death Star. They're a team that every single person hates in this league. And you've lost it, man. You could have had everything in this league. You could have had adoring fans, all of this stuff. And what's happened? What's happened? You're bullying a couple of 20-year-olds? What a loser. What an absolute sorry, sore loser.
Yeah, like for me, like just when you put together the totality of it, of Inter Miami's behavior, which honestly started during the game. I've never seen a team whine and crash out at the referees more. Every single call,
time.
Dude.
And
every single call. It doesn't matter what the call was. I remember one in particular where Messi was trying to make a run into the box and he tried to draw a foul on Jackson Reagan to get a free kick, but he clearly like initiated the contact himself and then fell. And the referee, I want to give him credit. He didn't give that foul just because it's Messi. I've seen Messi get awarded that foul 1,000 times during his time in MLS and frankly throughout his career. So I want to actually credit the ref for calling it straight. He saw that Messi was simulating there and he didn't give it to him. But like after that play, they had 6 guys. The ball was like in play. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And they had 6 guys like swarming him at the same time. It was every single call the entire game. They do that every game, and it gets real tiresome. So I mean, it's just like you put that with the brawl after the game where you got Sergio Busquets hitting Obed. Then you've got, obviously everyone knows about the Luis Suarez spitting on Gene, which is one of the craziest things I've ever seen on a soccer field, even for Luis Suarez. And then you have this coming out where, like you said, I have no problem really with trash talk during a game. Guys chirp each other. That's totally normal. If Messi was chirping, nothing wrong with that. It's part of the game. But to say that you're going to blackball him from the national team, that's different. That's like threatening somebody. That's threatening to like mess with their career. Yeah.
Over a Leagues Cup title? And they said that Leagues Cup doesn't mean anything, that it's a meaningless cash grab. Apparently Messi wants to blackball people over it.
But yeah,
I mean, it's shocking.
It definitely cements them as league supervillains for sure. But also what I was going to say is like, it also cements them to me as a bunch of clowns.
Yes.
They're circus clowns. Like this aura of like, oh, we're like the God's gift to the league because we're Lionel Messi and the Barca boys. I don't even take them seriously. I don't respect them as like an opponent that's worth thinking about. At like after what they did in the final to crash out and lose 3-0, but then all this behavior that we just mentioned, it's like you're a joke.
Yeah,
you're a joke. Like you're not even to be taken seriously.
Ari. The wheels are falling off. Genuinely, I feel like, and I've been saying this, that things are falling apart in Miami. They've been falling apart in Miami, and I think the Sounders could have possibly just killed this super team. I mean, it was a true David versus Goliath moment where the Giant fell, and it fell really hard in an embarrassing manner. I mean, Luis Suarez may be suspended the rest of the MLS season.
But we should talk about
also
that,
threw a punch. He may be suspended for multiple games. Yeah, the Sounders may get some suspensions as well, but there is no doubt in my mind that Major League Soccer will do something about this. People are saying, oh, they won't do it. They love Messi. I don't believe that. I believe that they will take matters into their own hands, and I trust that they're going to do something about this. But again, like I've been saying, when you let them get away with so much for so long, this is the inevitable result of it all. And it's over. Can you imagine that plane ride back to Miami?
I did imagine it, and I laughed a lot.
That locker room has to be cooked. That coach, I mean, Mascherano, I don't understand how he would even have any standing in this league anymore. I mean, he went in the post-match and started to rationalize spitting on a random.
He implied it was provoked. He implied it was instigated.
It's embarrassing. That whole team is embarrassing, and it's amazing to watch. If you go back, I watched the whole match over again the other day just for fun. It was awesome, by the way. I really recommend it. I thought Apple TV did a great job of the pre-match coverage and the post-match coverage, especially the post-match coverage. But the pre-match coverage, it's just glaze, Messi. There's no way they're going to do anything. BWP, shout out BWP. He actually said the Sounders were going to win. My guy. He said in penalties, but you know what? Whatever. We take what we can get. And then after, it's just everyone being like, "Oh, well, that was embarrassing." They're so embarrassing. What the whole talking point across the entire world right now is how embarrassing and how the Sounders embarrassed this super team. And
that part of it is great. I love that.
Yeah, and it was done with Obed Vargas, a young Mexican international. Pedro de la Vega, a young guy, right?
Osaze de Rosario.
Osaze de Rosario, the third string. I mean, what more could you want? This team, Inter Miami, they're done. They're over. This team, it's gonna die. I promise you. This was the final nail in their coffin.
Let's talk about the Suarez aspect of it, because as we record this on Wednesday, we have yet to see anything as far as disciplinary action. And there's been, a lot of talk, predictions about what's going to happen. I've seen some pundits say, well, at first it seemed like it was assumed, and I think I even kind of assumed this, that like any punishment would be related just to Leagues Cup, because it came outside of MLS play. It's a different tournament. You don't necessarily have to have discipline crossover from like a separate tournament into league play. But as Tom Bogues and others have pointed out, there is precedent, as Sounders fans know, for suspensions carrying over from outside tournaments into league play. It happened with the red card wedding when Clint Dempsey tore up Daniel Radford's notebook. He got 3 games, I believe, in MLS play, even though that happened in Open Cup. There's at least a couple other examples of it. But the league for sure has the authority to punish Luis Suarez for what he did in Leagues Cup. That is not even an issue, so I don't even want to hear people talking about that. They absolutely can and do have the authority to suspend him.
I expect they will.
And I expect they will. And I mean, honestly, it should be the rest of the season. It should be the rest of the season. Like, if it's anything less than that, it won't be. Just get him. Like,
he wasn't.
I think I said this on.
Anyway, get him the hell out of here.
I think I said this on kickoff, but like, there's just got to be a line, man. Like, there's got to be a threshold, especially with someone who has so much history of it, like him, where you can't just enable and have them live in this world where they can just do whatever they want, and there will be, in this case, it could be consequences, but like, it's got to be a lot of consequences. It does, like, and I think with where we're at in the season, you gotta. He should be done. Like, he should be done. It's one thing to verbally crash out at a ref or an opposing player or get in someone's face or like a little pushing and shoving. Yeah, that would like everyone else in the brawl. That like that rest of that is one thing. Spitting on a team staffer is just like, I still can't believe what we're even talking about. Like,
Sergio Busquets throwing punches.
He should be suspended too. He should be. He needs to be suspended.
Also, if you watch and putting Cody Baker in a headlock, what are we doing? I said in the press box, I was like, oh God, Falcon's gonna crash out at some point in this game. I already know it. He did it at the end by putting Cody Baker in a goddamn full Nelson. What are we doing? What are we doing? Not the C Bakes. We love C Bakes. You can't do that to our boy. But like,
Busquets needs to be suspended like a lot.
It's crazy. And if people keep sending me videos on Twitter, you did an incredible analysis with Nico of the whole brawl.
Nico got it on video. So
Nico got it on video. I mean, I've been talking to so many different people about this, and it really is unfortunate that this is what we have to lead the show with. But it's insane. It's insane. Like, you beat their ass so bad that they crashed out to the 10th degree. That's like,
it
honestly,
made it a
that's
more
even,
legendary win than
it's
it
even more
already
legendary.
was. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And-
shout
but
out to them for that, I guess.
Suarez was also like stepping on people's toes the whole time. Like as they were trying to walk away, he would like stomp on their toes. So
Well,
they
that's
would
what he
trip.
did to Gene.
And he did it to Gene, but he was doing it to a bunch of different people, man. It's just like, what a bunch of sick individuals. I mean, we've been saying that locker room is cancerous. Oh my God. Inter Miami locker room may be worse than Toronto, and that's saying something.
Yeah, no, like I said, circus clowns.
They are a traveling
I got no respect at this point. They're a joke. Like, yeah, they're a joke. They're a meme team. They are not. They got no aura. They are, like you said, league villains. Everyone hates them now. So they might enjoy that role, but like it's in like not in a cool way. Like no one's intimidated.
It's like the most annoying bot accounts spamming, "You're lying. We love Messi." And all of that kind of stuff, and then pretending like anyone cares about Inter Miami. Like, I truly do feel bad for the real Inter Miami fans. I mean, you talk to some on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
You talk to people who have been there through the whole thing and who they really want to see those young players.
We talked to some at the like out front of the stadium as well that were very nice.
Yeah, like there are real Inter Miami fans, whether people want to believe it or not. I feel for them because their team has been taken over by the most absolutely horrific group of individuals and fans of all time. It's got to be a tough scene down there in Miami. But you know what? It's an even better scene up here in Seattle because we are goddamn champions yet again.
3-0.
3-0.
3-0.
3-0. And we have been saying this in all of our live streams. If anyone's talking shit online at all, just drop 3-0. You don't have to say anything else. They're going to be like, well, Messi, this 3-0. It doesn't matter. Quiet down. 3-0.
No, anything else on De La Vega, Obed Vargas, Lionel Messi thing and the crash outer suspensions, or should we keep it pushing?
All I know is when De La Vega gets that call up and Obed Vargas gets sold for $45 million to Europe.
Yeah,
I'm going to be there chirping about it. I'm going to be there chirping. He's
going to be inaccurate on both counts because Obed is going to Europe. That's like a foregone conclusion at this point. And high key, De La Vega might actually get called up to Argentina if he keeps playing like this. I don't think they're going to care that it's in MLS. He scored Puskas winners over here. Come on. All right. Second news item that we learned about just before we started recording. Cristian Roldan. Ever heard of him?
Heard of him.
Called in to the USMNT for their
God.
September friendlies versus South Korea and Japan, directly in the aftermath of Seattle absolutely destroying Inter Miami and the Barca boys in the Leagues Cup final. Pochettino apparently knows ball.
Knows ball. We've been trying to tell him. We've been trying to tell him for months that he should be called in.
Yeah, it was. This was common sense prevailing. I think anyone who's actually watched Cristian play this season in the Club World Cup and in Leagues Cup understands that this is past due. To be honest, I did look at the U.S. Soccer's Twitter account when they announced this, and the replies are about what you would expect. But at this point, that is a litmus test. If you are one of those accounts that are crashing out in the USMNT's mentions because Cristian got called up, like you just do not know ball, and you don't watch the player that you're talking about. So you shouldn't be
in a role that he's never played in for the U.S. men's national team. And you want to talk about, we've seen all we need to see from Cristian Roldan in the national team. Brother, he was playing right back.
I mean, the narrative around his previous caps with the USMNT is bullshit anyway. He was not nearly as bad as the bots would have you believe. And there was also he never had a position like during those days. They were just playing him in random spots. He was getting 10-minute cameos here and there, never in a defined role. There was never a vision for how the team was going to use him. So were they where he has 37 caps? Were they the most amazing caps of all time? No, not really, but they were A, not that bad, and B, he was playing without having a set position or a defined role or any. It didn't seem like he had any instructions on how they wanted to use him. So you can't really take that much from him. And it didn't matter anyway. Like they crashed out over him being on the World Cup roster, and he played like 5 minutes at the World Cup.
Yeah.
It didn't
They also
matter.
crashed out about Jesus Ferreira being on. I mean, they literally hate every single person. They hate every guy. If you sky one ball, they're gonna leak your address online. It is the worst group of individuals to ever exist.
But
they should all be institutionalized and be put on a list. Like they're like everyone on USMNT Twitter, put them on a list, dude. I'm serious. If I would run for president one day, and maybe I will. I'm going to run for president, and my only platform is going to be make everything cheaper and arrest every single QSMNT fan and put them in a re-education camp. And they're going to have to like sit there and just watch Cristian Roldan highlights for like days on end.
It's funny because, we've been kind of on our anti-USMNT kick for a while now. And we've made a lot of fun of Pochettino and how his tenure kind of started. I'm kind of starting to like him for no other reason than that his call-ups trigger QSMNT this much, which is hilarious. But
have you heard their new bit?
Well, I just in all seriousness though, like it triggers QSMNT, but I genuinely like that he's making it a merit-based thing. Like he's on record quoted as saying, I'm not going to judge it on if they're in MLS. Like MLS players are going to be in consideration for these call-ups. It's going to be based on your form and how you're playing at the club level, no matter the league. So that's good to hear. And then that's reflected in his call-ups. And it's not just like glazing because he's calling in a lot of MLS guys. It's just like, I can respect that thought process of how he's analyzing the player pool and how he's calling guys in. And just the hilarity of how it triggers the bots is just an added bonus. But, I don't know. I still think that there was a lot of questionable stuff going on in his first few games and his initial tenure with the team. But I've gotten a little bit of a soft spot for Poke, kind of tied off by this Christian call up, which it's like, yeah, he should get called up. It's probably he waited too long, but he did it. So I can respect that.
It's pretty tight. They all are crashing out. I made a whole thread on Twitter. I just collected all of the responses and just said, here's a list of people who don't know ball, and just listed them out. And my favorite response from it was, standing for Cristian Roldan makes you a loser, you dumb fuck. And you know what? It doesn't, though. Because you know who's winning trophies? Cristian Roldan. You know who's winning trophies? Cristian Roldan.
You know who just owned Lionel Messi in a cup final? Cristian Roldan. You know who played in a Club World Cup group of death this summer and looked like the best player on the field? Who scored twice? Multiple of those games. Cristian Roldan. So
or was it one? One or two? He scored one or two.
He scored one, but he was also incredible in the Botafogo game. He was incredible in the Atletico game. He was, I thought, really good in the PSG game.
It's pretty tight.
Everyone who actually has been watching him play knows this. And so literally, if you're saying that this is not a merit-based call-up, you are exposing that you don't know ball. And there's just no question about it.
I don't know what to say. It's just
anything else on I'm happy.
It is truly almost just as good as winning Leagues Cup that we get to see this reaction. Like, we're watching the entire world of soccer melt down, and Brian Schmetzer's just like over here in the corner, like, yeah, I'm just a chill guy. I'm just hanging out. No big deal.
I'm happy for Cristian because he has said that he wanted this opportunity. He felt like he still had something to give, and he was just waiting for the phone to ring. I think he said that at the Club World Cup. So it's great. It's great for him. He deserves it. There's no way, if you're arguing on what his level has been on the field, there's no arguing that he doesn't deserve this. So hopefully, these friendlies are coming up right away. I think the first one is on Friday. And then
also, it's a friendly. Why are we crashing out?
I mean, because you got to crash out over. I think I know why. It's because like the World Cup is close, so you only have so many. Who cares? It's just ridiculous. But all right, let's take an ad break and then we will be back. We're gonna do a special little edition of Agenda Check. We're gonna hit some Messi Cope talking points, and then we'll close out with our actual agenda check later in the show. We'll be right back.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.
All right, welcome back from the ad break that you absolutely, positively, for sure did not skip.
Only champions champions don't skip ads. That's what I was trying to say.
Champions don't skip ads, and we know that you guys never would skip our ads. All right, Noah, what we're going to do right now is, like I said, we've got the normal agenda check that we're going to do to close out the show, but we're going to kind of do a special edition of agenda check now, where we are going to talk about some of the old agendas or kind of just long-serving agendas that we've talked about a lot on our show, and we are going to declare them deceased. We're
putting them in the retirement home like we did Lionel Messi.
We're putting them in the retirement home. I think when a trophy is won, that is an opportunity for narratives to be dispelled, and I think that is exactly what's happened here with not just the trophy that they won, because some people are going to say that it doesn't count because it's Leagues Cup and who cares about Leagues Cup, but it's about the spectacle of the game, the occasion that the club and the players provided us, the team that they beat. I think that's one of the biggest things that makes this so special. So there's just all kinds of variables that I think lead us to a place where a lot of these that we've been talking about, like I said, for at least a year, in some cases since the start of this damn show, where you're going to put them to rest right now. Noah, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
I got 4 written down, but if you think of any others, go ahead and throw them out there. Let's talk about the first one I have. The Jesus Ferreira is a bust, and that was a terrible unambitious trade agenda. Done. Dead. Dusted.
Cut the lights, buddy.
Over. I don't want to hear it. This trophy validates that trade 100%. There's no question about it, and there's nothing really that can happen from here on out that would change that, barring something like really crazy. But when they traded for Jesus Ferreira, there was a lot of talk about how underwhelming it was and how it wasn't ambitious, and that was never based on anything at all regarding his quality as a player. The only extent that there was analysis to that talking point was that he played for FC Dallas. That's it. There was nothing else to it, is that he played for FC Dallas and that he played in MLS. Therefore, doing a big trade for him is unambitious and underwhelming. That was always bullshit. We were saying it the entire time, to be fair, that this was a great trade for a fantastic player who was going to contribute very positively to the team. You and I were both very confident about that because of how much we watched him play for FC Dallas. So it was frustrating to watch when he got off to a little bit of a slow start. And we had people already 5 games into his career trying to dunk on us, taking victory laps on how he was a bust, sending us the Sounder at Heart Craig Weibel article in the SpongeBob writing, all that shit. You guys are done. That is an L. You lost. It's over. He has been an absolutely fantastic player for this team this year, and they do not win this trophy without him. You know why? Because they didn't have Albert Rusnak for this tournament because he was out with a pulled hamstring, and Jesus Ferreira took that position over, and this attack didn't miss a beat. He ran the offense like a godforsaken maestro. He was dropping dimes all over the place. He is a much better two-way player than I ever even expected. He is one of the best pressers on the team. He is a great like two-way attacker slash what he brings on the defensive end, work rate, selfless team player, and he's not going to get enough credit for the role that he played in winning this trophy. So I want to give him that credit. And all of that is true, despite the fact that his stat sheet production this year isn't like, if I looked at it at the beginning of the year, at this point in the year, I'd be like, that's a little behind where I would want it to be. But he does so much other stuff for this team, number one, that goes beyond the stat sheet. He's absolutely the type of player where that applies. But also, I would really argue he's been very, very unlucky to not have more goals. We saw it in the final. He freaking smashes one off the post that probably would have dusted that game in the first half. He is A-bearing. He's snake bit. But like, it's not even that, because there's been 3 or 4 of them where he's finished the chances and they've been disallowed because someone else was offside.
Yeah,
not even him. So
don't I know, Ari? Yes. Don't I know?
He is very, very unlucky to not have at least 3 or 4 more goals this year. And the assist production is there. He's been doing great work as a playmaker. I love his unselfishness. I just love everything about his game. I think he's a great footballer. I'm so glad they traded for him. And consider this my victory lap, because I put a video out at the beginning of all this agenda where I was saying, everyone calling him a bust, you are way early on that. And I don't think that is going to age well. And people were giving me a hard time about it. Hold your L. It's over. Noah?
It's over, buddy.
What do you got on the Jesus Ferreira agenda?
He is one of those players who doesn't mind doing the dirty work, doesn't mind moving around. What a performance at the number 10 position to step up and play there. I've been loving seeing him play there. And he even has been playing really well in the wing. I was critical about them shifting him all around and moving him all around and all that kind of stuff. And that was less on him and more on just like, let him just settle and cook. Well, he's settled and he's cooked, and he cooked up a goddamn trophy for the Seattle Sounders. If you think that the Seattle Sounders win this game or even get to this game without a player of his quality on the field
to cover for Rusnak, like when stepping up, next man up at that position when he needed to, and to still have this team
dimes, by the way,
dishing absolute dimes and really just being the focal point of an attack right now that is one of the best in the league. Like, this team is scoring goals like nothing for fun, and even without their best creator in Albert Rusnak, trading for Jesus Ferreira allowed them to maintain that level even when they had an injury to one of their designated players. You can't overstate how important that was for this team, and it got them a trophy, that's why I say that like nothing else that happens from here on out could change that, because they already getting that trophy and getting to host that game and destroy Messi, that was worth the trade right there. If it was a decision between make the trade and you get that versus don't make the trade and you don't get that, without knowing what happens after that, you have to take that. So
even if you are going in your wildest dreams and you say, instead of Jesus Ferreira, we signed some under the radar, insane European guy who comes in, what more could he have done? Maybe scores some more goals, but like that didn't change the calculus even 1%. The Sounders made it to where they were in dominating fashion, and that was with Jesus Ferreira starting a majority of those games, scoring, assisting, and dishing dimes. I mean, it's dead. Ari, it's dead. It's killed. It's roadkill.
And the whole strategy was great from Craig Wybes and the front office on that. I've talked about this a lot this year, but I think there's a lot to the strategy of sometimes targeting players from within the league, even for big money spots, like they did with Albert Rusnak and now like they did with Jesus Ferreira. That strengthens the odds that the signing is going to hit, because you already have a proven commodity within the league that can play and produce in the league. So that's just where the fact that it was a great trade to begin with comes in.
And please, Jesus, I just need one more. I just need one more goal, King. You're going to get
It's-
it. I'm not worried, but just one more, please.
It's kind of become a bit that he needs one more, and he just keeps barely. I think it's happened 4 or 5 times now where
The way
he's
that
scored it when it's gotten disallowed or rammed it
Yeah.
off the post.
the off the post one, me and you looking at each other, I was just like, ah! Because for him to have gotten his 5th there, I think I probably would have just gotten the tattoo anyway.
Honestly, that's what I was gonna say. You might want the tat,
Yeah,
like, with how good a
exactly.
sounder he's becoming. Like, it might be a tat that even if you get it, it's like a win-win. All right, next agenda that we are going to put to rest right now. The Seattle Sounders are unambitious, have lost their ambition agenda. This was talked a lot more about in the preseason. Remember, I did the ambition ratings. Remember those days? But it's been a talking point really since they missed the playoffs in 2022 and then hadn't won a trophy since. Like, are they really ambitious? I don't know. They're not the ones who signed Messi. How much ambition can they really have? Type stuff. You know what's ambitious? You want to know? You want to know what's ambitious? What's ambitious is playing in a made up tournament and turning it into a platform to host a final in front of 70,000 people against the greatest player of all time, and then not just hosting him, but beating his team's ass so bad that they crash out and have one of the craziest meltdowns in the history of the sport, and then winning a trophy from them on your home field. That's ambition. Like, that is exactly what you should be striving to do as a club. That's the type of thing that will push your club forward. That's the type of thing that will bring in new fans, and that is what you get, like, through winning, and then also through creating the best youth development system in the country and all that. That's ambition. That's ambition. It's not necessary. It's not signing Sun Heung Min. That is ambitious in a way, but it's not as ambitious as what the Sounders just did. So this ambition talk, I think we can just dust it with this. We can dust it with this. Over.
You're right. Like, there are multiple ways of being ambitious. And absolutely, I think there is something to be said about signing big players and making big moves and doing everything you can to fill a star-studded roster, to bring in fans and to build your brand and to do all of this, right? I think there's something to be said about that. I don't have a doubt that that will be successful for certain people at certain times. But what the Seattle Sounders have done is build a group of individuals who themselves are ambitious, who themselves have been doubted, who themselves, when are called upon, are going to perform at their absolute top quality. Brian Schmetzer said this at the beginning of League's Cup. He said, this is a player-led thing. They want to win this trophy more than anything. They are hungry. They are dedicated. They are driven. They are pushing each other in practice for this trophy. It's not me telling them this. I don't have to tell them this. They're the ones leading this. And you get a group of players like that. You build a locker room where culture comes before the number that you're signed for. And you know what happens? Championships, winning, a culture that allows you to slot in your third string striker, your second string goalkeeper, your second string left back. You're able to make all of this magic happen and win trophies because the attitude is ambition. It's not necessarily about the number on the paper. It's about who you're signing. And the Sounders are really good at identifying players who want to play for the badge. And that's what they've done. And you can't sit here and tell me that Craig Weibel is really bad at his job and it's unambitious. And I know we'll talk about that. The Sounders are ambitious. They're ambitious in ways that the random average dude who's just looking at a spreadsheet of signings doesn't understand, because they don't understand the culture of the Seattle Sounders and that it's always been like this and it will continue to be like this. It starts at the academy level. If you go watch our interviews with Henry Bronner, he tells you, he says there's 3 things. It's attitude, grades, and the work ethic, right? All of these things. This is how they talent ID. It's not necessarily that you're the best player in the world. We want you and we're going to get you. It's that you're going to fit in this locker room and you're going to help us win. And that's what happened, man. That's what happened. They are ambitious in this agenda. It was always unambitious. This agenda was always unambitious. But that shit, put it in the bin, man. Put it in the bin. It's over. It's cooked.
Well said. All right. Next agenda to lay to rest. Let's talk about Pedro de la Vega. The Pedro de la Vega is a bust agenda was active.
Do I have to join in on this one? I feel like I'm being targeted.
Well, but like
I never called him a bust.
You never called him a bust, but a lot of people did. And this was going on as recently as earlier this season, really in the last like 2 months. I would say it's a relatively recent period of time where he's managed to change the entire narrative about his Sounders career. But yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Craig Weibel on the next one, but one of the big things that was hung up against Craig Weibel was the De La Vega signing and how he was injured all of last year and didn't really get to play. And then this year, I would say it's fair to say he got off to a slow start again. He got injured again, like briefly, remember that at the very beginning of the year. And then when he came back, he still didn't really look like a DP. And then he didn't play in the PSG game at the Club World Cup. I thought that was weird. And I remember I wrote like a stock up, stock down thing for Sounder at Heart after the Club World Cup. And I put Pedro de la Vega as stock down. Like I have no trouble admitting and acknowledging that. Even though a lot of it wasn't his fault, he just had not lived up to his price tag, the DP label, and really like just the whole thing of being the first Sounders player to wear number 10 since Nico Ladero. I mean, look, these past 2 months, he looks like the best player in the league. I don't know. Like, I don't know who you would put above him over the last couple months, just in terms of how dangerous he looks week in, week out. And then the quality of the goals that he's scoring, the timing of the goals that he's scoring. He's doing it in big moments, like when the team really needs the DP attacker to step up. He is stepping up, and then just the talent level is off the charts, and that's been obvious for a while, but particularly lately. It's very clear that he's a world-class player that's so good that he makes Lionel Messi crash out on him on the field in the middle of a final where Pedro de la Vega is absolutely cooking Messi's team. So, I mean, clearly the process, whatever they scouted up with this player has been validated just in terms of his quality, but then his on-field contributions have now, like Jesus Ferreira, been central to the team taking home this trophy and winning this magical game in front of 70K at Lumen, giving the entire fan base the memory of a lifetime. That ends this agenda that he is a bust who isn't the DP or anything like that. This guy is a world-class player. He is one of, if not the most talented players to ever suit up for this club. If you're just talking about like pure raw footballing talent, he's got to be up there. He is that good. And we can finally stop talking about the DP tag or all the injuries and stuff. Like, he is that guy.
I love more than anything his true ascendance into this two-way player that perfectly encapsulates what Brian Schmetzer wants. If you look at Paul Rothrock, he's basically taken the grit and determination and just like attitude of I'm going to win this ball of Paul Rothrock, and also has like the incredible technical ability of an Argentinian number 10. He is the perfect player for this roster. And I was very skeptical, not necessarily because I didn't think he was talented, but more just skeptical that he was going to be a carry the load guy, that he was going to be this ascendant, change the trajectory of a game player. And I was holding my horses. I wasn't ready to declare that he had arrived and all of this kind of stuff because of what I had seen in the past. We gave him a long runway last year. We talked about the mentality of moving to a new country and the mentality of getting an injury like that, and like truly having to work through that psychologically to get back to the level of the player that we knew he could be. And I just didn't know if it was ever going to happen. I didn't. because there are examples of that just truly killing a person's career. But I don't think that anyone can watch what he just did in this League's Cup and say, this kid is a bust. Because you're right. Like, this kid is one of, if not the best wingers in the entire league. He will, if he can continue this form down the stretch, I mean, he's going to have a best 11 shout if he can really start working up some goals and assists in league play.
Yeah, and what's exciting about that is it's like I feel like there's finally that player here that you can put in that Haney Mukhtar, Evander, Lucho Acosta at his peak type discussion. That's how good he is. So to have a player like that on the Sounders, they haven't really had that in their attacking midfield the last few years, really. And even Nico Ladero at his peak, he was like that, but in kind of a different way. Like the power of Nico was kind of his all-around skill set and his mentality and how hard he works, which that's all true of De La Vega, but like Nico was never going to bust the stat sheet with like huge numbers in the way that I think De La Vega probably can if he keeps playing like this. So all right, last agenda to dust, lay to rest here. This might not be a popular one, but we're gonna say it. This Craig Weibel is abjectly incompetent, terrible GM, doesn't know what he's doing, and he's gonna spiral the club because he's so incompetent. It's done. It's done. It's done. All right. Like them winning this trophy in the way that they did it, that is not possible to do and also have like an incompetent GM or an incompetent front office. That's not a thing. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen just because you think the coach is the one who's doing it all. Schmetzer would be the first one to tell you he needs a strong, deep, and talented roster to be able to pull off the things that he's pulling off. Craig Weibel, I don't care how he provides that. He has provided that. It led to one of the greatest wins in club history. He deserves his credit for that. It's blindingly obvious that he's incompetent talk is silly at this point. And I think the main thing I would say is like, because I know the Craig Weibel is incompetent crowd will never admit that they're wrong ever. They're pathologically incapable of it. But here's what I would say. If Craig Weibel is incompetent, but we still get the type of moment, the type of spectacle, the type of win that we got in this League's Cup final, then I don't care if you're right. I don't give a shit. What does it matter? What we got is everything that the club should be chasing, and they provided it with the roster that he built. So if he is incompetent, then I don't care.
Say it again.
I don't care. I don't care. Like, I mean, he's not. He clearly built a really awesome roster here, and he should get credit for De La Vega, for trading for Ferreira, for Danny Musovski. I mean, you could go down the list. He's got a lot of hits, but it's both things. It's a banger coaching job by Schmetz, and it's also great work by the front office to give him the roster that he had. This roster is pretty lights out.
And another narrative I've always hated about this is that it's Craig Weibel alone making these decisions. If you don't think that Craig Weibel and Brian Schmetzer have a relationship to where Brian Schmetzer is informing Craig Weibel on the type of player or saying yes or no to the players and signings, then you have no idea of what goes on day to day in a soccer team. They are locked in together. They respect each other. They work together. That's the reality of the situation. So if you think that Craig Weibel is terrible at his job, you also have to say Brian Schmetzer is bad at his job, because that's just the truth. They work together. They're a duo. It's not a single person. It's easy to drop something on a single person. But even if you believe that, you're wrong. They just won an international trophy. They won, whether you like the tournament or not, they beat 3 Liga MX teams. 4 Liga MX teams. You're right, 4 Liga MX teams in decisive fashion with backups. Well,
I think that's the other thing that reinforces it, is that how many injuries they had and the level that they were still able to play at. Yes, that is great coaching. It is also a great roster.
Correct.
Like,
it's a silly point at this time, and I don't even see people chirping as much anymore about Craig Weibel.
That's because
we talked about. I did see this. I did see this comment. Someone said, "Oh, Noah, well, you graded Craig Weibel's transfer window at D." But they won this trophy. And I said, yeah, absolutely. I can say that I feel like in the long run, that transfer window might be harmful, but I can also acknowledge that Craig Weibel has done a really good job up to this point. You can fail a test and still pass the class. And I got to be honest with you, there has absolutely been moments where I've scratched my head or been like, I don't get it. But at the end of the day, if they're winning trophies, like you said, it does not matter. I do not care. If you are lifting a trophy, it does not matter. And if you are lifting a trophy with Osaze de Rosario as your number 9, and he's scoring the game-winning goal, I do not care. I don't want to hear it.
This trophy changes the way I think about the transfer window, because the way I look at it is, if you want to not make a move in the in a given transfer window when you have an opportunity to, and say, look, we feel good about what we have and we think we can contend and win trophies with this roster as it is, without making like a panic signing, so we're just going to leave it. That's fine. But you actually got to go win the trophies then. Like, you can't like do what they did last year and get right to the edge and then not get it over the line and have this feeling of like, man, you just had like a little bit more firepower, maybe that could have got it done. Like, you have to, if you're going to take the patient approach, you've got to compete and win in the short term. That's the expectation for this club. They just did that. To me, you earn equity through winning. If you win that trophy and give us all that moment that we had in that game against Inter Miami, then to me that builds equity for, if you want to say, look, we don't want to go in this transfer window, we didn't want to do it, we didn't feel like we had the right target. I'm willing to trust that, because you just won. You just provided the result that we all want, and that the club has been chasing. So to me, like, I don't, maybe people won't agree with this, but like, I'm fully like, I don't give a shit about the transfer window anymore. Don't care about Noah, Ohio. I didn't really that much to begin with, but now I'm just like, good you waited, because like, clearly you know what you're doing. So like, if you felt like the target wasn't right, and that if you wait you can get someone who's better and will help the team more, then good, wait, I trust that. Like, that's the equity you earn through giving us moments in games like they just did in the Leagues Cup final.
And it's always a what have you done for me lately with GMs and coaches and everything. And so we'll keep monitoring the situation. Obviously, they got to sustain it, but like, for now, I think we can just he's not incompetent. You can't say he's incompetent or terrible. There's just no way. It's not. You can say he makes some mistakes, but you sure can't say he's incompetent. All right. That does it for our dead agendas. Kill that segment. Let us know in the comments if you got any thoughts on those. I'm sure the Craig Weibs aspect will. I don't even think it should be that hot of a take anymore, to be honest with you, based on what we just saw. But it probably will be. Noah, you wanted to hit some Messi cope talking points. We've been seeing a lot of them since the Seattle Sounders absolutely destroyed Lionel Messi, Inter Miami, in the crash out crybaby Barca boys at Lumen Field. We've been in the trenches of like the Messi internet like the last week or so. We've been in a firestorm. We've been in the trenches. It's like, you know, the meme where it's like the soldier standing in front of the little kid in the bed and there's like grenades and knives going into the backs. Yeah, that's us. We're doing that for you. But like the beautiful thing is like all the kind of chirpy stuff that we did before the game with the Rothrock quote, and then you saying that they're going to open a can of whoop ass and kind of like jokingly like challenging Messi with Pedro de la Vega type stuff. All of that just aged so well that like people can't really even come at everyone was literally sharpening their knives to come after us because of some of the stuff we posted on Instagram and TikTok, and they can't. It's like it was one of the most beautiful bets
ever hedged. I have to give you credit for that. I'm not as courageous with that stuff. You stuck the neck out there, both individually, but like from the Lobbing Scorchers social media accounts. And I cannot think of anything that's ever paid off. Like,
it was a legendary heat check.
Like, not just with the win. Like, the win would have been one thing, but how it happened with like all the Rothrock content that we did, and then how it tied into the Rothrock goal and all the subsequent content that we got off that in the Schmetz quote. Like, if you wrote a movie script of how that could have panned out for us, and someone wrote that you would think they were joking. Like,
we were walking out of the stadium at like 1 a.m, and I looked to you and I said, I think this is it for us.
Yeah.
I don't think this gets any better. And like, yes, we've had that moment before where like we were like, oh, our Rothrock, the first episode being let's get Paul Rothrock some help, which they ended up doing, and now he's like the certified incredible MLS player. We never thought that we would pass that. And then there were other moments where we're like, oh, we'll never pass that. And then now we're here, and I'm truly like, this is our Icarus moment. We cannot go any higher.
It has to be, but like, I'll take it. Honestly,
if this is the best we ever do and the best we ever get, God damn it, was it not the best possible situation?
Needless to say, there's a lot of, it's not even Inter Miami.
People can't accept it.
It's Lionel Messi fans who, it's a lot. He has a whole part of the internet that's like about him individually, no matter what team he's on. They've been in our TikTok comments. They've been coping with this not very well. Noah, give us some of the reasons that they've come up with why Inter Miami and Lionel Messi lost this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go down one by one, and I want us to just like quickly just assert why this doesn't matter. Okay. Well, actually, this game was played on turf, so it shouldn't even count in the first place. Sorry. 3-0. Next. Here's the next one.
Okay, I'll just say, like, okay. if you're the GOAT, I feel like you should be able to play on a little bit of turf, first of all.
Yeah.
But also,
you can play in the barrios of Argentina, but you can't play on a little turf. Come on.
But also, it's called home field advantage. That's not just about like stuff like the crowd and the attendance and the noise and stuff. It's about the other variables that whatever stadium that you're playing in provide. And in Seattle's case, it's turf. That's what makes it part of what makes it one of the hardest road trips for a visiting team in Major League Soccer is that a lot of teams that come here aren't used to that service. Seattle does use that to their advantage. That's why you don't want to, one of the reasons you don't want to play them in a final at Lumen Field, because if you're not used to that, that could work against you. And cry about it. Like,
they didn't have to
learn how to play on it.
Listen, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. They had every opportunity to have home field advantage. All they would have had to do was win MLS Cup last year. But what they do? They crashed out and let a 45-year-old goalkeeper stop them in the first round. So that's on the GOAT. That's not on us.
You don't like it. Host it in Fort Lauderdale then.
They chose. They chose.
In Fort Lauderdale.
They chose. Even if it was hosted in Fort Lauderdale, Sounders are winning that 100%. Yeah. If you get to cope, I get to cope. If they had made those chances that they shot on target, Ari, it would have been a completely different game. Yeah. Messi doesn't miss that normally. That's like a 1 in 1 billion.
And then the Allende one, if he just makes that, then it could have been 2-1, like the hypotheticals. Here's the thing about that is I love it when people like only count those going one way. Like, okay, yeah, Messi skied one into the 27th row that he doesn't normally. Allende missed a really easy shot. If we're guaranteeing that those should have gone in and that they would have won the win if Inter Miami would have won if they did go in, then we also need to guarantee that the one Jesus Ferreira whammed off the post went in. We also need to guarantee the one that the header that Osaze had literally right after kickoff, that was almost a goal. Then you have to put that one in and you guarantee those go in. Then Seattle has it's like a 5-2 win or something like that if you give them the goals that they also actually did score.
Or the Paul Rothrock one where it barely misses.
So that's the funny thing about the what if game. You actually have to apply that both ways. Okay, you can't. It's only Inter Miami's close chances. We're going to count those.
Yeah. Ari, clearly the only reason that the GOAT lost is because this is retirement FC. This is Florida Retirement Home FC. And the fact that a bunch of the guys around him are old, they suck. They suck. They're not good players. Everyone around him is terrible. Messi handpicked this team, though, Ari.
Yeah, that's all that needs to be said there. He's the GM. He's the Craig Weibel of Inter Miami. So that's literally his own fault. Like it actually is.
Well, Ari, but here's the thing, though. He won the World Cup. So, like, why would my GOAT care about a stupid yo-yo looking trophy? Why would he care about that stupid trophy, bro? He won the World Cup. World Cup. How many World Cups does Paul Rothrock have?
Yeah, that's the bit. He won the World Cup. He's the greatest footballer ever. He has 46 trophies, and he can't beat Paul Rothrock and the Seattle Sounders at Lumen Field. That's why it's funny. So I appreciate those people for explaining the bit. Like, why do you think we're enjoying it as much as we are outside of the trophy? It's because it came against a guy who won a World Cup and is considered the greatest player ever.
To say that he doesn't care about this trophy is funny because he literally was beefing with two 20-year-old players on the field because they were like turning him into dust. I don't know what to say. If he's the GOAT and he's also like the most competitive guy in the world and also he's beefing with a bunch of players on the field, I think he cares a little bit. I think he was a little rattled by that. I think he's a little rattled. But Ari, I don't want to you're still not convincing me, okay? Cuz Lionel Messi's basically retired, bro. He doesn't care anymore. He's basically retired.
The thing is, like, if you look at how he's played the last couple years, I really don't think he's washed. Like, he's not. Like, maybe this is what actually washes him, but he won MVP last year. He had 36 goal contributions in like 20 games. This year he has 19 and 8 in 19 games. He's like producing and putting up the same, like, scoring and assisting at the same rate as he always has throughout his career. And honestly, that has been impressive. But again, it also makes it funnier that he couldn't get it done in the Leagues Cup final at Lumen Field. Like, yeah, he's going to retire soon, but like, what Seattle did to neutralize him in this game was so impressive. Like, I wasn't even considering that level of containing him a possibility going into the game. Like, I really wasn't. So like the idea that it's just like he's just on the outs and doesn't have it anymore, it's like I wouldn't even say it's like he's not the player that he used to be. Like, he's been like torching it in MLS so far, both last season when he won the MVP and this season. So like, why couldn't he do it in this game? Explain that.
Well, it's Ari, that's all the more reason to talk about this, which is truly the reason why my GOAT was robbed, which is there was a handball. If you freeze frame one camera on the Apple TV broadcast while Alex or Cristian, one of the Roldan brothers, had his arm in a chicken wing position, it kind of looks like it kind of hit off his arm in the box. And like, I'm sorry, I got to be honest, Messi robbed. This referee was clearly a Ronaldo fan.
I hadn't seen like I know the call you're talking about, and it doesn't surprise me to hear that people were harping on that. It's just if you're going to calls like that to explain an L, like you are cooked. Like, that is you are turbo cooked if you're doing that.
You're doing a what's the Orlando City bit or a St. Louis City SC crash out moment, which famously, it's not a good look for you guys. It's not a good look for you guys. But Ari, you're still wrong, and I bet you can't prove this one wrong. Obed Vargas tried to kill my GOAT with a tackle. He twisted his leg up. Because I have one freeze frame where it looks like it. You don't understand. He tried to kill my GOAT.
Obed Vargas owns Lionel Messi. Like, it's honestly incredible how much the degree to which he owns Lionel Messi, and even more so somehow Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez is out there spitting on people. Right before that, Obed Vargas is literally pointing at him and laughing at him because he has like such little respect for the game that he just played.
That screenshot is so funny, dude.
It's one of the greatest things I've seen in my life. So, I mean, what a game by Obed. He was absolutely phenomenal, and he can, for the rest of his life, say that he outclassed Lionel Messi in a cup final. So how many people can say that?
Well, fine. You got me on those ones, but this last one, you're never going to be able to convince me. Mascherano is trying to ruin Messi's career because he's jealous of him. Mascherano is the worst coach of all time. Hashtag Mascherano out. Hashtag Messi in as head coach and player and GM and support staff and cook and chef and boot room guy and kit man and everything.
Honestly, potentially true about Mosh trying to ruin his career. Also, someone that would not have been hired but for Lionel Messi. It doesn't get talked about enough, like how they basically just hired his boy. Like,
dude, they pissed off. They said Tata piss off. One of the best coaches in MLS history, by the way, Tata Martino, under Brian Schmetzer, but still one of the best coaches in MLS and one of the best coaches historically in the world. They said, yeah, piss off.
Yeah, and you know what we're seeing with how this Mascherano era is going? We're seeing why you don't do that, like why you don't just hire someone's boy as the coach. There needs to be like a hierarchical relationship between the coach and the players. Once you cross that boundary of like the coach is their friend and like defends them no matter what, takes their side no matter what, enables them no matter what because he's more friends with them than coach, you get situations like the team fully losing its composure and starting an insane brawl after they lose a game because there's no culture of like accountability or respect for what the coach says that you should or shouldn't do or can and can't do. Like they have blurred that boundary. That line has been crossed and it's toxified their locker room. And that is what led to this crazy brawl that we saw. So like, if there's a serious point to be taken from all that, it's that they put on full display why that hire was honestly kind of just reckless. Like, because it wasn't based on coaching credentials. It was based on like what would make Messi happy and like giving him his friend in there. And honestly, they made it harder for themselves to win by doing that and creating that dynamic.
Well, that's it. Fine. You win. Messi not the GOAT. Paul Rothrock the GOAT.
All right. We're going to take an ad break. We'll be right back. And then we're going to close it out with a rapid fire agenda check.
Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get. Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
All right, welcome back from yet another ad break that you did.
You know who didn't skip the ads? Paul Rothrock. But you know who did skip the ads? Messi. And look what it turned out with. Messi doesn't have a trophy. Paul Rothrock has a trophy. So think about the next time you try and skip our ads.
Think about that. Food for thought for the next time you skip our ads. All right. No, let's try and get out of here in a relatively efficient time frame here. But I do have five topics, agendas to talk about here. We can rapid fire these a little bit, but you know, we did the agenda check of declaring some old agendas dead. So I figured we should have some new ones, or at least more recent ones that we've been talking about that we can do our more traditional status updates on. So I got 5 here. If you've got any others that I'm missing, feel free to toss them in. But let's start with Brian Schmetzer is the MLS GOAT head coach. agenda, which is something that has been floated a little bit. It did, after they won Champions League and all that stuff. I think that was the one that really vaulted him into that pantheon. Even though he'd already won 2 MLS Cups, there was still like, oh, he's just a Seattle guy. But then he wins Champions League, and people are like, this guy is in the pantheon now. Now he has this win, which Leagues Cup, new trophy. Who knows how significant it is? But he just took down Messi. He took down Inter Miami. He did it in front of 70K. Again, in a season where they had so many injuries and adversity, where his coaching chops actually had to play a role in the team's success to a really very obvious degree. Man, like, obviously we're biased, but I don't even know who Bruce Arena, Ziggy are always going to be in the discussion. Really, those are the only 2 that I think you could argue above him. But I just think when you look at his trophy haul at this point, that he's won every single one that there is to win. No one else can say that. And just the sustainability of it, how long he's been doing it, year after year, every time this team gets in a tournament, like it just feels like they become unstoppable. And all that stuff, as far as the big games and the culture and the performances and the identity and all the winning that it's led to, I think he is the MLS GOAT, and that should not be undermined by the fact that the things people bring up are like he's a product of his environment, of like where he coaches. He's always been given these super talented players to begin with, so he doesn't have to do a lot. That's all. That's all cooked. That's all
Bruce
cooked.
Arena was coaching 2008 through 2016 LA Galaxy. What are we talking about?
He's got a lot of cups.
Yeah, but I'm saying he had
talent-wise,
the first star-studded roster.
Yeah. Landon Donovan,
in
Robbie
an
Keane,
era
David
that is
Beckham.
undoubtedly 10 to 100 to 1,000 times less competitive than MLS is now. I don't care what you want to say. Who's been able to do it consistently through every era? Brian Schmetzer. You can't say that about anyone else. You literally can't, because he was a part of all of the Siggy wins in Seattle.
Yeah.
He was a part of all of the wins after that. He took the 2016 Seattle Sounders, and a team that was a laughingstock of the league, took them to an MLS Cup, won it, and then just said, MLS Cup final, MLS Cup final, MLS Cup final, MLS Cup final, Champions League, Leagues Cup. What are we talking about? There is no debate. I respect Bruce Arena. I think he's a great coach.
We love Ziggy.
He's an icon here in Seattle. But there is no one more rooted in the history of his club as well. I think that's another thing that you have to respect about him. He's not club hopping. He's staying right where he is. He is at the same club that he signed for when he was 17 years old. Yeah. And he has brought more hardware to his home city than anyone in any sport at all. Build the goddamn statue. He's the best to ever do it. By far the best story of any of these coaches. And probably will continue to do it for, I don't know, let him coach till he dies.
Doesn't it feel like he's just set up to keep this churning for a long ass time?
Yes.
I don't want to be presumptuous, but like he really, it doesn't feel like he's slowing down. And I think if someone were to argue for Bruce or Ziggy, I wouldn't be like, that's a crazy, horrible take. But I think we're getting to the point where Schmetz's trophy case is just becoming pretty undeniable. All right, next agenda. We've talked about this one before. The Messi era for Inter Miami has been a failure agenda. You were on this one early. I've been the one who was more I guess hesitant to dub it that, I guess, until we see how it actually ends. And also I guess was more keen to acknowledge the success that they did have from the Leagues Cup that they won when they first got into the league. I think winning the Shield last year and setting the points record was at the very least an impressive accomplishment. They played And they played, for me, it was more about the level of footy that they played for a lot of last season. I thought it was some of the best attacking footy I've ever seen played in the league. So those are positives that have come from the Messi era at Inter Miami. But with how this game went, how badly they lost the game, and then also you throw in the crazy antics, the post-game crash out, the spitting, the threatening Pedro de la Vega in a really weird way. You toss all that in, and it just has this negative, toxic energy that who wants to be around that, man? Who wants to be a fan of that? That's just like horrible vibes. There's like, if they win MLS Cup this year, maybe that changes the narrative and that kickstarts a run where they sort of become what they were supposed to be. But as it stands right now, this game seals the fact that it has been a failure to this point. I think they have not gotten anywhere close to winning at the rate that they said that they were trying to and that they were going to when they brought in Messi and the Barca boys. They're not particularly close.
I mean, it is going to be a feat if they win MLS Cup. They have a crazy run of games. I mean, they have to play like 7 matches or something in the next few weeks.
And Suarez is probably going to be suspended for most, if not all of that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Who do they even play? Are they playing Fafa at the 9? What are they
like?
Do?
This was the ultimate final blow. This is the nail in the coffin. I said it earlier. I don't see this team is been a complete failure and truly hilarious to watch a team try and do an MLS 1. They basically tried to redo the David Beckham era. They did. And guess what? Congrats on your shield. Congrats on your points record and your Leagues Cup trophy. That's awesome, man. Those are undeniably trophies that exist that you have won. But you haven't been able to do the 2 things that you really, really, really set out to do, which was win MLS Cup, win CONCACAF Champions Cup. And you got out of your group in Club World Cup, but you were playing with a bunch of, like, I think the Sounders could have gotten out of that group, truthfully. And that's rewriting history. That's just, speculation, whatever. But this team, man, they might actually play better if they just played a bunch of their young players, actually. So who knows what's next for them. But Javier Mascherano should be fired. And I think this team might be collapsing and going to have to turn into something else, because I don't think the Messi era has truly been all that great.
The Sounders had a better Club World Cup than Inter Miami, even though they made it out of the group and Seattle didn't. And I'll tell you why. Because Seattle was playing in the much more difficult group, and even though they didn't make it out, they got so much more out of it. Like they gave their fans like these awesome memories of watching them play against these teams. But they actually, I think the fact that they competed against those teams and played as well as they did at times, it did something for the collective psychologically, where it instilled this belief, like, we can play with anybody. We don't think anybody else that we play can mess with us. And it also just being like playing teams at that level, it just made them razor sharp for all these games ever since that tournament. If they had played in Inter Miami's group and gotten out of it, I don't think they wouldn't have gotten any of those same things out of that tournament. And that's why, even with the results and them not making it out of the group, I would not trade that for anything. I wouldn't trade those games for anything. I would not trade making it out of the group if you put them in another group. Like, I think that honestly, it elevated the whole club to be able to play in that tournament, play in those games against those teams and perform how they did. And I think it's a big reason that they dominated Leagues Cup to the extent that they did. So that's my soapbox on that.
Yeah, I agree. And Inter Miami are not the Sounders. They don't ever want to be the Sounders. They have said that's not the identity that they want to have. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I'm glad that I've been first to this agenda and that I've been pushing this, because I believe it. This isn't going to work. You have to let your young talent shine. You have to actually have an identity and a culture that isn't based
foundation.
around
you need
one
a foundation.
guy.
Yeah.
it's a joke.
This was putting Messi and the Barca boys on something that had no foundation.
Yeah.
So
you
actually that it worked out decently from a on-field results perspective in the regular season and stuff, but it's not going to win you all the trophies you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like MLS is a different beast. It doesn't work. That's why I'm saying the Shield, for one, it's unbalanced. Like, truthfully, like, it's just whatever. Like, you don't play every team. Like, it's a Mickey Mouse Shield type of person. It's not an impressive accomplishment. It's like, okay, whatever, man.
You need more than that. You need more than that.
It's
a nice supplementary thing, but you can't
MLS teams.
You can't hang your hat on it.
No. And the Sounders are a better team than Miami will ever be. It doesn't matter who you put on that team.
They're a real team. They're
a real team. They have an ideology. They have a foundation. They play how they want to play, and people actually buy in to what their coach is saying. And they don't crash out and punch people in the face. So that's also another thing.
The Seattle Sounders have the best youth development in MLS agenda. This is a new one that I'm going to put forth just because I feel like when we talk about these discussions, I'm not going to say Seattle gets always overlooked or not respected in these conversations, but it's just been a truism for a really long time that FC Dallas and the Philadelphia Union are the gold standards of that, and Seattle's in a close to that tier, but not quite in that tier. They're in that tier, and honestly, I think they've surpassed FC Dallas at this point. The Philly Union, their list of players, if you're going to argue that it's more impressive, it's at least a debate. But if you want to talk about who has used that to the greatest effect as far as getting these players to the first team like the Union have, but also winning trophies along with that, this is the first data point we have of Seattle actually getting these guys cycled in and contributing to the first team, and then having them meaningfully contribute to winning a trophy. There were let's go down the list of Tacoma Defiance guys that were involved in this game again. RBW, Georgie, Obed, that's where he got his start. Osaze, obviously. There's so many that Snyder Burnell didn't play, but he's broken into the first team and scored 2 goals. Who am I missing? I can't even.
Did you say Paul Rothrock? I don't know.
Paul Rothrock, obviously.
You got Georgie on there.
I got Georgie on there. It's they actually won a trophy making use of that pipeline to a greater degree than I've ever seen from an MLS team in a situation like this. And that's how you win a game like that with your third string striker, right? Is stuff like that. So I think it's time that we champion the agenda that this team is, and this club is the gold standard of youth development in this league and in this country, because just the fruits of that labor that we witnessed this year and in this tournament are incredible. And it's honestly, that's been such a fun part about this team, is how watching young guys come up and succeed, but it makes the whole team feel just so authentic to Seattle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like a team that is fully put together of people from somewhere else. It's it actually represents the city in a way.
Yeah, it's you get the ethos of what this city is. You have people who you can really connect with. You can be like, that's my neighbor. Hey, that's my neighbor who's playing professional soccer, who's also beasting Messi. And then you can be like, we're gathered around this kid, Pedro de la Vega. You're a Seattleite now, it's all of these things. The Roldan brothers who have become honorary Seattleites. I think what's even more interesting about the Seattle Sounders is the method that they use. They want to win. And so they use their academy to win. They don't use their academy to make money. They're using their academy to win games. They're respecting players if they want to go out and do what they want, but there's so many clubs in MLS where the second there's a bag to be had, that's what they're getting. And they lose a lot. And they're not able to win like the Sounders can. But that's the thing. Brian Schmetzer, the entire organization, the city of Seattle itself being a great place to live, you can attract talent and keep talent like that. People want to complain all day. Jordan Morris should have gone to Europe and he is a loser for saying it's. I don't care, man. He wanted to play for his hometown club. And that is, and he had the opportunity to go somewhere else, and he chose to stay here because it meant something to him. And this club means something to the people who come up through the academy, and they truly buy into it. And so that psychological piece, I don't think there's another club anywhere that has that. Because who the hell wants to live in Columbus, Ohio? I don't. I want to live by the lake. And that's the opportunity that the Seattle Sounders give you. And truly, like, I don't think there's a doubt. At least in this current moment, there is not an academy producing anyone better.
I'm going to switch up the order here. Let's do the Leagues Cup final was the best ever played at Lumen Field agenda. So the competition would be MLS Cup 2019 and CONCACAF Champions Cup.
There's also some Open Cups in there.
2022. No, this was your agenda. What would you say your criteria is for best ever? Is it the
I think it
significance of the win, the crowd, or all of the everything?
A lot of people put a lot of significance on the win, which I do think is important. But I also think that it's opponent, it's the lead up, the build up, like what was being pinned on Seattle. Were you the underdog? What the crowd looks like, what the energy felt like, how it made you feel, what the attention that it got you, right? I think that obviously I think it could be a 1A, 1B situation with CONCACAF Champions Cup because truly the Sounders were rated like I remember on like CBS or something, there was a graphic where it was like the 10 best teams in the world after the Sounders won CONCACAF Champions Cups, and the Sounders were like number 8 or something, like above Ajax or whatever. And so the attention obviously was immense, and it was an impressive result. But having just this pressure of like Messi's coming to town, oh, is the stadium going to be all pink? Like, what's the vibe? Every time Messi's on the ball, thunderous boos. I mean, just a stadium that was sold out and a majority Sounders fans. And even the people in Messi jerseys cheering for the Sounders. It was the aura, the atmosphere, the feeling around Lumen Field before and after. The feeling of the fan base, the feeling of the crash out at the end even. I think that this is one of those games that people will talk about for the rest of their lives. And you know what? You can be upset that it's because Messi was involved, but it was because Messi was involved. And that's something that's like, no hate to Pumas, but people want to
exactly.
People want to asterisk that all the time. This was a final where you had the scrappy underdog kids, the Seattle kids, go in and beat the big bad giant in Messi in front of the largest crowd ever for a soccer game in Seattle. That was rowdy and lively, and they lifted a cup. And I don't know, it's cinematic. It's like you said, it is so much more cinematic than CCL, and so that's why to me this is my favorite final ever played at Lumen Field.
Yeah, it could be recency bias, but I tend to agree.
Absolutely.
Like, I think it's a 1A, 1B situation, but there was just something that felt different about this one being there, but also having it be against Messi gave it this sort of like mainstream understanding from like that I don't think CONCACAF Champions League or Cup has. Like most like normal people and even most just random generic soccer fans probably don't know all that much about CONCACAF Champions League. Everyone, when you say, oh, the Sounders are playing the team that has Messi, everyone knows what that means and what comes with that. And that makes the whole thing just fundamentally different from the start. And then just the energy, like how the whole thing just took over that whole part of Seattle, like the Pioneer Square and like area surrounding Lumen Field. There was just this just buzz that felt different than anything I've ever felt around there. And then with, like you said, how cinematic the game was itself and how complete with Rothrock scoring the goal after Schmetz's Rothrock quote and like the celebration and everything. Man, I don't know. Maybe with time, I'll remember the 22-1, the CONCACAF Champions Cup more fondly. but this just felt like a different animal because of the Messi factor.
I also think like the weather was nice. It was like, there's just like little added things here and there that make it, building on top of the summer of soccer that you've already had and the teams that you've already gotten to host in that stadium, and just like the energy around the Sounders in this summer. It's like, it's hard to understate how that was the building of something and just the perfect release. And I love this team so much, man. And I can't wait for more championships in that stadium so that they can dethrone that one. But for now, that's my number one.
Let's bring it home with one last agenda here. This is the 2025 season is already a success agenda. I figured it's worth talking about if we agree with this or not, because people have been talking about it. And also I can already foresee a situation where Seattle gets knocked out of the playoffs this year. And then the Crash Out Brigaders are going to be talking about how what a worthless failure of a club it is, and that Leagues Cup doesn't count because it was just Leagues Cup and this was when it really matters, and Craig Weibel, blah blah blah. Like I can see that happening, but I think like with them just winning this Leagues Cup, it's worth talking about how that kind of changes how we see the playoffs, because as far as the just the season already being a success with that win, I'm kind of there, man. Like the playoffs, obviously you want to win MLS Cup, not saying that you should phone it in or that it doesn't matter. But any tournament is like up to complete chance. Ultimately, we saw that last year. It's just one bounce of the ball one way or the other. Sometimes it's going to go your way. You're going to be able to make a run. Sometimes you're not. If it doesn't go their way this year and they get knocked out like in a similar way that they did last year, I'm not going to be that busted up about it. We already got the sickest game that any fan base has had in years, and that probably ever will have 4 years. Like that is how big and awesome
that was.
Like MLS Cup would just be icing on the cake for that at this point. People are welcome to disagree with that, but like I really feel that way. Like I really don't think there's anything that could happen in the playoffs that would change how I feel about that one way or the other. That game, that type of game that we got, that's all I want from this. That is what we are chasing, what we are hoping that the club will achieve when we do this podcast, when we cover these games. That is what they are chasing, and we are chasing. So when we are provided that, and I get that, I'm happy with that, and anything else that happens that year after that, like I said, is icing on the cake. So I don't know, is that preemptive cope, or do you feel the same way?
No, it's undoubtedly, I think it's a success, and let's go out and win another one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of addicted to it, to be honest. So
that shit hits. I need another one.
I think that's a great place to call it a wrap for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, again, thank you so much for following our coverage throughout Leagues Cup. We had an absolute riot of a time covering this thing.
We told you that it was a good tournament.
We did. It's a victory for Lobbing Scorchers on that. I didn't bring that up in the agenda check, but like we did say, this tournament is actually fine and cool, and I think that actually panned out. So, but in all seriousness, the support that we got, the new viewers that we got, it was just a great time. We appreciate each and every one of you. Like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars. Please sub to the channel. Road to 3K subscribers, alive and well. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Am I missing anything else?
See you on the 5th for our vlog.
I'll see you on the 5th for the vlog, and I'll also be on tomorrow, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. under the lights. See you all there. Until next time, we out.
Peace.